Very good, eh?
No, that one is when you're asking, that one is previously one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So any feedback on any feedback on this? Like anyone set some goals or develop any personal strategy to grow in the second half of the year?
I think maybe for many of you, you don't specifically have a leadership growth strategy or goal. But I believe that if you do have some kind of a personal development strategy, I think that can count as a leadership growth strategy. Okay. Personal development strategy is also it contributes significantly to leadership growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Now, having said that, I really hope every single one of you have some form of development schedule. Yeah, I think that's the word, development schedule, meaning you every week, by hook or by crook, you have dedicated or set apart some time in a week for personal development, because that will significantly contribute to leadership growth. Now, why I say that, actually the other day only I was talking to Jin Lee about this. And I observed one thing even in our study group, both Monday and Thursday. Remember at one time, our numbers joining this group is something like 15, 16. There was one time. Okay. Quite a few new people joined. Right? Now notice a lot of these new people have disappeared. Now, what does it tell me? Actually, it tells me this. And to me, it's very sad. A lot of time, our development schedule, or the time we set aside for development, we put our development time at the mercy of our life demand. In other words, whenever life get busy, busy making money, busy with business, busy when life other commitment comes in, one of the first thing you throw away is personal development time. Now, to me, it's sad. You know why it's sad? Because focusing on now, being busy, you are sacrificing your potential, your future potential. To me, it's very sad. The future, there's so much in the future that you see, your life commitment is going to grow. Your life responsibility, your life role keep expanding and increasing. And yet, if your life role and commitment keep increasing, but your development does not, a day will come, you are inadequate to cope with all your roles and responsibility. To me, it's extremely sad. And then you fail, lor. And then you switch to survival mode, lor. One of the things I really want to encourage, never sacrifice your personal development time, because you really need it for the increasing role and responsibility and leadership responsibility that you will be having in the future. Okay, you really need it. One of the things that you must never sacrifice is your development time or your leadership growth time. Okay. So I'm glad that for many of you, you did not do that, and you are still, by hook or by crook, putting in effort to still attend this class on Wednesday. In fact, a couple of you, some more attend both Monday and Wednesday. And there are few of you even attended both Monday, Wednesday, and MOL. Okay? Really, let me say this. I want to say that you are really investing in your future. Because tomorrow, in the future, you need to be better to cope with the greater role and responsibility. You need to be better. Your capability today is inadequate for you to effectively fulfill your role as responsibility tomorrow. Because tomorrow one will be even greater a challenge than today. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to you.
So Edmund, what is your advice on personal growth? Like, what can we do for personal growth, other than like attending meetings like this?
Okay.
Like,
That's why for those of for the more senior members, they have gone through attitude class. That's why to me, I'm going to take a bit of time lah. Never mind lah. For those who have heard me before, this is a good reminder. You see, our life is only as good as our thoughts. Or more important, our life is only as good as our habitual thoughts. What I call attitude. Attitude is your habitual thought. Now, where is this habitual thought going to improve? Input. Okay? Input. Now, when our habitual thoughts came from past, whatever we have learned in the past, through other people, through observing our parents, through the environment, through our schooling, through our teacher, through the peer pressure, you name it. Now, during the time, we were young and we were naive, we don't know how to filter. So definitely a lot of our habitual thinking is not good. There are a lot of inadequate habitual thinking. Now, this is today's world. There are so many books and principles being in written form. Well, now it's not just in written form. Now you have books, you have e-book, you have video, you have audio book, you name it, man. You have discussion, you have animated video, anything to teach a lot of these things that people have learned. Now, so you have the sources. You have all these sources to help us become better parent, better man or woman, better leader, better businessman, better entrepreneur, career specific, career skill, you name it. Understanding our own mental health, understanding our own emotional health, understanding love, you name it, we have it. Now, all these are there, but our own habitual thinking are definitely not there. How are we going to improve? The first thing we need to know, first thing we need to do is to know. You don't know if you don't go and read about it or hear about it. Knowledge comes from reading or hearing. Understanding comes from thinking. Habitual thinking comes from practicing. Now, all these words that I just say, from learning, from trying, thinking to understand, from applying to make it a habitual mindset, all this need time and effort. So if we really want to improve the quality of our life in each endeavor, we need this knowledge to enter and become a habitual thinking. That's why you need to set aside. Now, there's so much to learn. You cannot be learning all the time. You'll get permanent head damage, PhD. But however, this is where your leadership growth schedule come in. That's where your strategy come in. That's why the strategy is very simple only. To me, it's very simple. Every week, you have awake hours. You're talking about wake hours. Let's say you have 8 hours sleep. That means you have 16 hours awake every day. Times 7. That is 112 hours. Is it too much to even ask you to set aside 5%? 5% of 112 hours is about 6 hours. You should at least set aside 6 hours to invest in your future, because your improved thinking is your future. So this is where it become become practical. You're practically investing 6 hours a week to increase your knowledge, understanding, and habitual thinking. And the second important principle I want to stress is this. You don't have to do a lot. The same principle I have repeatedly, we have learned from John C. Maxwell. If I swing the X 5 times a week, I just swing the X 5 times a week consistently, as according to the schedule I've set aside every week. Doesn't matter how big the tree is, will I be able to chop down the tree? Yes. You see, the same thing I was doing in Elizabeth's place. I'm doing now home farming. I don't one-shot convert Elizabeth's garden into a farm. I don't. All I do is make sure I dedicate 3 times a week to do some farming. And definitely, that like right now, I've already posted in YMAC group. There are 6 winter melon growing. That's why I'm asking who wants the winter melon. But this 6 winter melon did not come about overnight. It came about because 3 months ago, when the lockdown came, I started doing the home farming. And all I did is 1 day, 1 week, 3 times. I go and clear the farm, plant the winter melon seed, water the winter melon seed, prune the winter melon seed. And today, 3 months later, right? Actually, today's count is not 6. Today's count, I have 8 winter melon. The fruit came about 3 months later because of consistency, because I planted that seed. Same thing for you. If every week you spend 5-6 hours consistently, I can tell you in the future, you will bear the fruit of an improved habitual thinking, which will lead to an improved life. A life with greater potential. That's all that is to it. Very simple. And this is what attitude is. That's why attitude matters. And through the 6 hours a week, even within a few years, you will see your personal attitude changing. You cannot avoid that, because you keep planting. Eventually, the seed will sprout, and then the plant will become so big that it's part of your habitual thinking. It's part of your attitude. It's part of your improved attitude. Don't ask for quick fix. No quick. Nature is slow and steady. Okay? Don't rush. No rushing. Rainy day, sunshine, doesn't matter, 6 hours a week. But people now know, right? Sunshine or desperate, they come at the 10. Things improve. Bye-bye. I don't think I need already. Life has improved for me. Yeah, life has improved for you today. But you are not preparing yourself for a worse tomorrow, for tomorrow which will have a higher, greater role and responsibility, and may also bring you worse circumstance. Okay, and everybody will like Chinese saying, when you want to tamak egg, then only you go and dig a hole. Too late lah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to you, Mabel.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing, Edmund.
Sorry, long-winded.
No lah. It's a very good reminder for all of us, I think. And you have the point there. I think consistency is the key, to be honest. And each day taking a small little step, it does make a difference in the long run. No? Yeah. So, okay, I shall proceed. Yeah. Everyone can hear me. Right, Edmund, suddenly.
Why? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I keep quiet now, otherwise I talk too much.
No worry. I love your feedback. Okay. Okay, so today question 3. What is the ultimate purpose of leadership? So let's see. What is the ultimate? Okay, before that, so first and foremost, actually leadership is about adding value to people. So like this author, Norman Vincent Peale, he said that to be successful is to be helpful, caring, and constructive, to make everything and everyone you touch a little bit better. So the best things you have to give is yourself. If you want to be successful as a leader, you need to make others better. You need to help them to remove self-imposed limitations and encourage them to reach their potential. So it's easy to say, but how do you do it? Right. Next question. So here are a few things where we can do to help others to remove their self-imposed limitations, to encourage them to reach their potential. Now let's see. Number 1, we listen to their story and ask questions. So we don't really understand people until we actually hear their story, their life story. So by just a virtue of listening and remembering what's important to them, we can communicate with them that we care and desire to add value into their life. Actually, I think I have encountered a few leaders. They actually concerned about my life story as well, and I do feel very touched that wow, actually this leader that can come down to my level and actually talk to me and want to know what's my life story about. And some they actually remember, and they will they will follow up with you. Yeah, I think this is according to the book, this is number 1. Okay, how can we help others? So number 1 is listening to their story and ask questions. And number 2 is to make their agendas your priority. Good leaders focus on the needs and wants of their people, and as far as it is within their power, they make they make their people's hopes and dreams a priority. And there is a great power when the vision of the organization and the dreams of its people come into alignment and everybody wins. So when you help your people and you help them to achieve like their dreams and their hopes, as long as it is within your power, and when they are when they feel loved, they feel cared for, they feel, you encourage them this way, in a way you're helping your organization as well. So let's go to number 3. Believe in them. I think leaders need to believe in their people, lor. If you want to help people, believe in them. When people believe in themselves, they perform better. I find this very, very true. Like, how do you increase people's belief in themselves? You express your belief in them, because in general, people rise to the level of your expectation. I read a few books on this topic as well. When you want your people to work better, you have to express your belief in them, and you say things that, maybe you have to, in a way, like compliment them, or you, how to say, not compliment, but you express your belief in them, saying that, okay, I believe that you can do this, and then you just let them do what they do best, and people will generally just rise up to the level of your expectation, rather than you use something like negative. Yeah, you cannot do it, you like this, you like this, like this. Then that kind of negative energy actually make them more discouraged, and they can't really perform well in the organization. No? Yep. And then the next one, the 4th one, is to discuss ways to accomplish their visions and create plans that fit them. When you know what makes people tick and you understand their hopes and dreams, you have the potential to add value to them in a powerful way. And you could talk to them about ways to help them accomplish their vision while they do their work and help the organization. Then together, you formulate a plan to help them to do it. Okay, so I'll proceed to the next one, the 5th one, the last one. Help them until the vision is accomplished. Follow through and assist them all the way. When you follow through, you're not only helping them, you also build your leadership credibility and your influence, not only with them, but with everyone on the team. In a way, we show as a leader, we don't just like in the beginning, oh, what's your goal? What's your hopes? What's your dream? And then after that, you forget about them. You like don't care already, But to show that you truly care about them, following through and assisting them is one of the best way to show that you actually care about their dreams, care about their hopes. Then when we help them, here it says very clear that we build our leadership credibility and our influence, and also not only with them but with everyone in the team. And here it says here that there is no downside to adding value to people. It may cost us our time, a lot of effort, but when we add value to people, we help them and we make them more valuable. So what happens when we make them more valuable? You see the below, there's a you, and then when you help your team, they become more effective. And when they become effective, it helps back you, which is your organization, it becomes better. So it's a win-win situation thing, and everybody grows together. Yeah. So this is basically about chapter 3. Any question?
I'm just thinking, I find the question a little bit weird.
Okay.
What is the ultimate purpose of leadership? If I were to change the word leadership, what is the ultimate purpose of influence? Now, I'm thinking of negative influence. It's still also influence.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, leadership, there is constructive and destructive leadership. There is positive leadership or negative leadership. Even gangsters also have their own leader.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So because they have this negative influence, so that's why when I look at this question, I find it a bit weird. I think in this case, I'm going to suggest paraphrasing it. What is the purpose of constructive leadership? We're not talking about destructive leadership.
Okay.
Okay, we are talking about constructive leadership. We're talking about positive leadership here. We're not talking about negative leadership here. Okay. Yeah. That's the first. So once we do that, then it becomes easier to answer the question. What is the ultimate purpose of constructive leadership? Improvement. You want to improve. You want to improve the world. You want to improve the situation, you want to improve life, you want to make things better, then it makes a lot of sense. Then the question. Now, if you want to improve life, you can improve life better and faster and greater by improving individuals, improving people. Because people are who makes the world better. The world, for better or for worse, is actually caused by human being. Human being today is the cause of the world getting worse today. Or even when there is improvement in certain society and when there is certain constructive work being done, you will notice that it's people. People is the one who discover science and technology and come up with better ways of doing things, better ways of doing things. People are the one who come up with initiative to improve life everywhere, especially in adverse situation. Now, so in this case, then it becomes much easier for us to answer the question. Okay. Okay, back to you.
Okay, so that's basically sum up our chapter 3 lor. Yeah, you are done. Not chapter 3, sorry. We are done with question 3, okay? Now let's proceed to question 4. What is the difference between delegating and abdicating responsibility? Okay, I think there's okay. So delegating and abdicating responsibility. Delegating responsibility, it means that you delegate to you as a leader, you have tasks on your hand, and then you delegate your tasks according to, okay, let me see, where's the word? Okay, according to like your followers, your people's skills, abilities, and the interests of them doing the work. That is delegating, which means you take into account of the strength and the weakness of your people, and then you delegate the job, the task, to the people that most fit into that task, that you think that they will do best in that particular task. And abdicating responsibility, it means that the leader, they just dump, okay, they just dump the job, the task on your hand, like, nah, you do this, okay, without even thinking that whether you can do it or not, or whether you have the skill to accomplish this task properly, but they just dump it and they expect you to do it. So this is the difference between delegating and abdicating. So for I think for a good leader and for a good leader they are responsible to see the strength and the weakness of the team and to delegate, which means to hand over the task according to the strength and according to the weaknesses that let's just say according to the strength of the people. Because in a way, when you delegate properly, at the end of the day, your job is done like at the best, with the best performance, with the best result, rather than you just dump everything and then in the end they come back with the result which is you are not satisfied with it, and then you know it's a vicious cycle. You like you scold them, you get upset, you get disappointed, and then you're like, you think that their performance is bad and things like that. So here he says that a leader need to know how to delegate the responsibility according to the strength, the skill, the ability, and the interest of the person doing the work. Yep. And here General George S. Patton says, never tell people how to do things, tell them what to do, and they will surprise you with their ingenuity. That's also according to the strength. When you give them the job, you don't tell them how to do it. You just tell them this is what you need to do, and you just let them do it. People will just surprise you with their ingenuity. Yeah. So this is basically about chapter 4. Chapter 4. No, not chapter 4. Sorry, it's question 4. Any input and any question? Any input or question from Edmund or anyone there? No? Yes? No feedback?
Okay, lah. Go on. Lah.
Okay. I think Max, I can share until question 6 only today. Okay, so now we'll go into question 5, yeah? Now, question 5. What is the greatest challenge in answering the call to leadership? What do you think are the challenge to be a leader? What are the challenges? Anyone wants to share? What do you think is the greatest challenge in answering the call to leadership? Before we proceed, I know being a leader, there are many challenges, but the greatest challenge in leadership. Oh, Patrick, don't. Okay, it's okay. It means that to be a leader, there will be a lot of there will be a lot of challenges that we will face as a leader. Okay, what is the one? Just need one greatest challenge, the biggest challenge that a leader will face. Because when you lead a group, it's not easy. And leadership means you're leading a group of people. Okay, and leading a group of people, maybe you have to deal with people. Dealing with people is always challenging, right? So cannot get a cooperative team. Okay, Jinli say leading yourself. Okay, easy to lead, help someone that knows a destination. What? Recently I deal with 2 that are completely lost. Faint. Okay, Patrick said cannot foresee ahead. Right. That's all of you have the point, okay? Leadership is really not easy. But from this book, okay, the greatest challenge in leadership is making decisions that affect other people. So the main keyword is making decision. Because if we don't say about leadership, let's talk about our personal life. If we have problems, sometimes we have big problems making decision for ourselves, and whatever decision that we make, we affect only us alone, one person. Am I right? And we are not talking about like small decisions that you make every day, like maybe big decisions that you have to make, like for example, whether I should take this course, for example, whether I should quit my job and start another job, for example, should I leave the country and to go to work in another country. These kind of major decisions in your life that will affect only yourself and probably your family around you lah, right? But for a leader in organization, let's say in big organization, making decisions is tough because it affects not only the people around you, your followers, okay, but it could affect the whole organization. So from the book, it says that making decisions that affect other people. All right, let's go on.
Okay, let me interrupt a little bit.
Okay.
Little bit.
No, it's okay. You can share more, no problem.
Go back your slide. Go back to the question. Yes, this one. I want to talk about the call to leadership.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the full question. I want to talk about the call to leadership. What do you understand by the call to leadership?
Call to leadership means to take up the responsibility as a leader, to lead the people. Yeah. to serve, to a call to lead a group of people, to achieve goals or success.
Where does the call come from? Who calls? What calls?
Good question.
This is quite important for us to understand ourselves, actually. Now, if you look back at your own self, just think through when was the last time you have heard a call to leadership? Where does the call come from?
A call to leadership. Could it be like when you have been doing something, when you have shown the trait of like being able to lead in a group consistently in the group, and then that's where your senior, your upline, or your someone who is above you, and ask you to like slowly to be in charge in a bigger and bigger project to lead a bigger and more people.
Okay, good. So in this case, the call of leadership come from your superior or
superior, yes.
come from somebody higher up than you. Okay.
Yes.
Other people? Where else? Where does the call come from? When I see a problem and a need. Okay. Okay. Explain, Jin Lee. Explain how do you get the call? You see. Go on. Okay. Good. So now, you see, just now, Mabel said the call came from superior. Now your one came from inside you. Is that right? Okay. Good. Okay. So it can come from outside other people. It can come from inside you.
I think the fact that outside other people can call you to be a leader, which means they see something in you, that they trust you with this responsibility to lead out, in projects and people, and yeah.
Correct. But I'm asking, where does the call come from? This is important for us to begin to recognize, to learn.
Where
there are many sources of a calling. Okay. It could be other people who feel that you can, and they want you to rise up to leadership, and so they call you to rise. But then it could be you yourself see a problem, recognizing that you need to step up. So you yourself now recognizing the need to step up. Okay. Where else?
Where?
Because it's a call. Now you think about the word call. Call is a voice, right? I mean, when you say call means it's a voice. That there is, you heard something. You have to hear a call. Okay. This is very important, which also means this. If you think about the call to leadership, which also means this. if you're not sensitive to hear, you're not going to get, you're not going to answer a call. You can't answer a call you didn't hear. Okay. Now this is very important for us to begin to recognize. In other words, if you think about it carefully, how can you hear, and in what circumstances can you hear well, and under what circumstances can you not hear well?
When it is quiet, you hear well.
Good. Now think clearly some more. Okay? Quiet where? Where does the quietness have to come to hear a call?
Where? Your heart.
Yeah,
Your mind.
Yeah, very good. Now I want to challenge this, because otherwise this question have no you there's no practical meaning if you don't understand that, or you don't understand the circumstances where you can hear a call. Okay. Actually, leadership is a calling. In many ways, it's a calling. A calling that comes when you hear it. You hear your conscience speaking to you. You hear the needs of other people calling out for help. You hear maybe God putting it in your heart. Okay. And saying something like, why don't you go? Right? If not you, then who? So you come across all this. Now this is very important, because if you don't hear a call, you can't answer a call. And the first challenge, the first decision you have to make, and the most difficult decision you have to make, is, should I answer the call? A lot of people don't. Okay. Yeah. And also bear in mind, most of the time, the call is where you can quiet down your turmoil of self-centeredness. It's your self-centeredness that very often distract you from hearing a call. When you're busy trying to survive and thinking about yourself, you can't hear call one. Because the call is to call towards other people. Your call is to act outwards, never a call to satisfy your own self. That's why a call to leadership. Chapter 4, question 4, Mabel, you created a disease. Chapter 4. Question 4. Question 4 already stated very clearly. Leadership is thinking about other people. That's why a calling to leadership is a call to recognize and to act on a need of other people. Okay? And sometimes do we not sometimes maybe if you go through Facebook, we read through article, we watch video, whatever, we saw problems. Right? Problems that speak to us and say, oh, that's a problem. But we shrug it off. Right? Now, is that answering a call? That's more like rejecting the call. Right? Or maybe we tell ourselves, no, that's not calling me. It doesn't apply to me. Okay? So, in other words, it's possible for us to reject call. So, first thing we have to ask, okay, Are we sensitive to call? You can, if you don't hear the call, if you're not sensitive to hear the call, there's no way to answer the call.
Mm.
So the first thing I really want to challenge for us to think about, right, is for those of you who've gone through the book Outward Mindset, this is very important. If you don't have an outward mindset, if you don't have a sensitivity outwards, it's very hard to hear call because the call comes from outside. Okay? Because the need and the problem is outside. Okay? And then when you hear it, you have to decide whether you're going to answer it. Patrick says servanthood. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Now, this word servanthood, now I've said this again last time many times before. I've used this illustration many times before. If we look around you, wherever you are right now, you can still apply this concept that I'm going to talk about. All you have to do is just look around you. Look at every single item that you can see. Your computer screen, your handphone, your whatever else on your table, or wherever else you are at, the table you are at, the chair you're sitting, is any item there to serve itself or to serve people, to serve others? Any item that you see within your sight right now, are there any item that fulfill its purpose by serving itself? None, to honestly tell you. And every item, the meaning and the purpose arise from serving others, not serving itself. And similarly, leadership, same thing. That's why this word servanthood, only human beings forget that we are created to serve others. Meaning is found when we serve others, never to serve ourselves. Once we start serving ourselves and we preserve ourselves, we lose meaning and we lose purpose. There's no purpose in preservation. There's only purpose in utilization. We utilize something, we use something. That's why it serves a purpose. We use a handphone. That's why the handphone serves a purpose. We use a computer. That's why the computer serves a purpose. Okay? We use the table. That's why the table serves the purpose. We use a chair, serves a purpose. And so, in the same way, we need to know the call that we need to hear the call to us for us to identify what we are supposed to serve. That's why it's called a calling. A calling is where it speaks to us and tells us what we are supposed to be used for. And then we decide, okay, are we going to say yes to that call? This is a very important to understand. Then, when we respond in answer to the call to serve a purpose, we find meaning and purpose in our life. And then it becomes a great challenge. Now, how do we maximize the potential of the call? In other words, once we are called, once we say yes, we want to go into it, we already decided to use ourselves. Then the next question is, how can we maximize our usage? Our being used. That's the greatest value. In other words, our value increase once we know how to decide the maximizing of using our us, of answering the call to use us for whatever benefit outside. Ken, question?
Yep.
Anybody comment? Okay, if not okay, then I will pass the time back to Mabel.
Okay. So shall I continue?
Yep.
Okay. So where is it? Oh. But from this book, it says that greatest challenge in leadership is making decisions that affect other people lah. Okay, but Edmund, you pointed out a very good point. It's a very deep discussion. You always ask very deep question, but it's really good. Yeah. So here, tough decisions ahead. Yeah, leaders who decline to make decisions create insecurity among followers and undermine their own leadership. So if you want to become a better leader, become willing to make tough choices and uncomfortable decisions. Because especially when like tough times, when leaders don't make any decisions, people tend to panic. And so when they see that their leaders have some, they know what they are doing or have some so-called plan, even though they don't have plan, but they still have to remain calm and everything, it will help them to create security among the followers. So when the leaders they just keep quiet when things happen, it will create tension among the followers. So yeah, so here it says that not only that, but for like many other things that they have to make choices. um we have to be willing to make tough choices and uncomfortable decisions. So first one, there are few decisions that we will need to, I mean, as a leader, they will need to make. First one is the courageous decisions. What must be done? So what is a courageous decisions? Let's see. Like for example, whenever you see a successful business, it's actually someone once made a courageous decision. The hard-won progress that comes as a result of difficult decisions that can be scary, but sometimes the organization is on the line and the only people that in the position to make the courageous calls are the leaders. It's not easy, especially in starting your business, and in the starting, yeah, it's not easy to start a business. But when you see those successful businesses, they have gone through a lot, and there are a lot of decisions that they have to make. They know that things that has to be done, then they have to make the decision. That is the courageous decisions. And second one is priority decisions, which means what must be done first. Okay. Leaders, they have to be able to look ahead, and they have to be able to see the big picture and to understand the greater vision. And then they have to make decisions based on the priorities of the whole team and organizations. There are a lot of decisions that we need to make, and we just need to know which is our priorities. It's just like our own daily activities, our own life. There's so many things waiting for us to accomplish, for us to do it, but we have to set priorities. What's important? What are the things that need to be done first? We have to do that first. So it seems to organization in leadership. So this book, it gives this one example. All of you, have you all heard of Noah's Ark? Anyone doesn't know what is Noah's Ark? Can you all comment? Okay, Jin Lee knows Noah's Ark. Anyone else doesn't know what is a Noah's Ark? Patrick, you don't know what is a Noah's Ark. Okay. Okay, so Noah's Ark is a story in the Bible lah. Okay, that time Noah is a man. Okay, he's a Noah's Ark. Yes, Noah's Ark. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so you know okay. So anyone doesn't know what is a Noah's Ark? Everybody knows lah, I assume okay lah. Then no need explain already. Okay, there's this Italian economics Vilfredo Pareto. He said that if you are Noah and your ark is about to sink, which animal would you look for? And what would you do with that? I mean, what would you do first? Okay, if your ark, okay, here says that if your ark are about to sink, you have to throw one animal out. Which animal would you throw out first? Anyone? If you are in the Noah's Ark, if you are Noah and your boat is about to sink, the less valuable and less contributable. Okay, let's be like literal, like literally an animal that you would throw out from your ark. Which animal would you go first? Rat. Why rat? Because they bite the boat, is it? Then create more holes, then it will sink faster. Anyone else? Okay. And they eat the rice. Okay. Okay, so now here it says, if your ark is about to sink, look for elephant first. Do you know why? Because elephant is the heaviest. Yes, elephant is the heaviest. Okay, so look for elephant first, because you can throw over a bunch of like cats or dogs or squirrel and everything else that is just small animal, but your ark will just keep sinking. But if you find one elephant to get overboard, you are in much better shape. So this is just the illustration that it gives lah. Okay, yep. So that's priority decisions. It's hard, it's tough decision, but you still have to make the decision. And everyone understand? Priority decision. Okay, great. Now let's go to number 3, change decisions, which means what must be done differently. Sometimes change is not easy lah, I would say. Actually, not sometimes. I think most of the time change is not easy, and many of us, we don't like change. We get comfortable with the current state, and when there are changes, we just get uncomfortable. And sometimes we resist change as well. And change could make us fearful. Like, for example, this whole COVID-19 thing, there are a lot of changes, right? And there are a lot of uncertainties. But now it's like now we are doing things differently. So these are the change decisions that an organization, a leader that needs to make. Like, for example, it says, Jim Rohn says that if someone is going down the wrong road, he doesn't need motivation to speed him up. What he needs is education to turn him around. So leaders often provide the education and impetus for making changes. Okay, so everyone understand about this decision, change decision, which means things that needs to be done differently, and leaders, they are the one that often need to provide the education to make the changes. And then number 4 is the creative decisions, which means what might be possible. Someone once said that 95% of the decisions leaders make can be made by a reasonably intelligent high school sophomore. Like, leaders, they get paid for the other 5%. Means like sometimes making those tough decisions calls for experience. But what's really beneficial is actually creativity, which means, in short, leaders think out of the box, okay, and help the team break through barriers and cover new ground. Sometimes we cannot be too conventional. Conventional is good in a way because there are some system that has been done and proven that it works. But as like you see, our world is changing. So sometimes conventional way doesn't work. So as a leader, you have to be creative and to be able to think out of the box and to break the barrier and to cover the new ground. Okay, so everyone get this, Any question, just throw in the chat box. Okay, number 5 is people decisions. Who should and should not be involved? This is the toughest. Okay, this is the most difficult one because it involves people. Like who should and should not be involved in projects or in anything, or given the job, who should you choose the right person to be in? And when things that involve this kind of individual to be in, another individual that should not be involved in the project, it would stir some unnecessary conflicts or discomfort among the group. Yep. And also, yeah, managing relationship. But sometimes it's quite hard. I think, like for example, like leaders, sometimes they have to decide, if whether someone is no longer right for the team. They still have to make that decision whether this person should stay or not. This kind of decision. But leaders, you have to sometimes you have to be the bad person, right? So okay, let me see. Yeah, so this is basically the people decisions. You'll get the meaning of it. People's decision, where it directly involve people, and leaders need to make the decision, who is suitable or eligible for the given job. And some people that don't contribute much in the team, perhaps they should be like no longer be with the team kind of decision. Yeah, so this is called people decisions. So far, any question? Edmund, do you have any input for all these 5 decisions?
I want to ask for each of these 5, what can deter us as a leader from making those decisions? What deters us from making this decision? If we know what can deter us from making those decisions, when those things come, then hopefully we become more aware, and then we can hopefully overcome it, and make decision. What deters us from making courageous decision?
Fear, lack of faith, I guess.
Fear of what? What are some things you're fearful of?
Failure.
Okay.
You're talking about the first one, courageous decisions, right?
Yes,
yeah. Say failure.
Okay. What else? Failure only?
Unknown. Matthew say unknown.
Okay. Yep. Fear of the unknown. Yes.
Uncertainty.
Yes. What else?
Courageous decisions.
Come on. A lot. What is your fear? What are you afraid of? Other judgment. Yes. Okay. What else? Okay. What else?
Making the wrong decision.
Okay.
So we sometimes we are so fearful of making the wrong decision that we choose not to make decision at all.
Okay. Is there any fear that will make you make the courageous decision?
Fear that make me make the courageous decision.
Yeah.
Fear.
There are fears that can deter you from making courageous decision. But is there any fear that can make you drive you to make a courageous decision?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes.
What? Yes, what?
Huh? Which means maybe
What?
like for example,
Good. Jinli got one. Fear of regretting. What else?
fear of not trying.
Good. Yep. Actually, by the way, not trying is worse than trying and failing. Not trying, you gain nothing. Trying and failing, you gain lesson and experience.
That's true.
Okay, let's go to number 2. Priority decision. What are some of the things that hinder priority decision?
Tough one.
Anybody? Procrastination. Okay. Procrastination can create delay until no decision is made, then everything gone. Okay. Patrick, urgent decision. Very good. Urgency make us lose track of what is important. Urgency is one very major distraction to importance. A lot of time in urgency, it blinds us from seeing the important. What else? Poor value system. You have never think through clearly your value system. What is important, what is not important. You never thought through. So when the time comes, you just react now. Okay? Remember Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. So if you don't begin with the end in mind, do you know what is your priority? Usually, no. Yeah. When you don't have a clear vision of your goal, in other words, you will have difficulty making priority decision. What about change decision? Hey, I see this happening during COVID-19. A lot of people having difficulty making change decision. What causes difficulty in making change decision? Come on. Hey, think. Because these are things that affects us. We know what we should do, but then we must know what we need to overcome. Huh?
Being too comfortable.
Being what? Sorry, Mabel?
Too comfortable.
Okay, comfort zone. Correct. Comfort zone. Self-esteem. Yes. You don't have the confidence. Okay, when change. Afraid of risk. Okay. Don't the self-esteem and the risk comes together. When the risk is there and then you don't have the confidence, you don't have the self-confidence, then very difficult. Okay. Change is always risky. Every time new changes, the risks increase. Okay. But always bear in mind, comfort zone is more risky. When the storm is coming and you remain in the comfort zone, the storm you can see is coming. It increases the risk. That's why risk is never stable. It's never stagnant one. Risk is never stagnant. When life around, when things around us change, risk factor change. Okay, and when risk factor change, if we are awake, then we must make some changes. What about creative decision? What deters us or what hinders us from making creative decision? Stay in the box. Yes. Okay. Also a bit like comfort zone. Okay. The in the box mindset. Okay. Status quo mindset. Okay. And it's connected, very often connected to comfort zone. Okay. Yeah. Risk is also one of these. Whenever you see, creative people usually take risks. When you change things, you are bringing out risks, perfectionism. Okay. Yes. You're spending too much time trying to perfect the thing rather than being creative to think of something new. Yeah, caught up in perfectionism, being perfection. Okay. What about people decision? What hinders people decision?
Afraid to offend people.
Good. Afraid to offend people. Is that the only one? Second one, failure to understand people. Okay, good. Xian came out with one. Fear of conflict. Good. Okay. Fear of conflict. Okay. Also lack of understanding. Okay. Some people don't understand other people. Some people don't understand the differences in human uniqueness. Okay. Now, this is important for us. If you are going to be good decision maker as a leader, then we also need to know and are sensitive to the things inside us that tend to deter us or hinder us from wanting to make a decision. And once we are able to catch hold of these things that tend to distract us or hinder us, then it's easier for us to overcome it and be quick. Okay, be firm and be quick in making decision. Okay. Now, always bear in mind, decisions that are not made is a decision. When you don't make the decision, when you fail to make a decision, that is also a decision. A decision that delays, a decision that leaves things to run on its own, a decision that continue in the same path where already it is not a good path. Because if a decision is required, that means that path that it is going, it is not going properly. So the failure to make a decision is already a decision in itself to allow it to continue in the imperfect path. Okay, so this is very important to recognize that a failure to make decision is also a decision. Okay. Okay, Mabel.
Okay, thank you so much, Edmund, for the input. So I will have only one more slide for question 5. Here, it says, failure by H.W. Andrews. Failure to make a decision after due consideration of all the facts will quickly brand a man as unfit for a position of responsibility. Not all your decisions will be correct. None of us is perfect. But if you get into the habit of making decisions experience will develop your judgment to a point where more and more of your decisions will be right. Will be right. Yep. So this is by H.W. Andrews. So here I think it's trying to tell you that as a leader, we have to be you have to get ourselves into the habit of making decisions, because the more you make decisions, you will see like different outcomes, and this will also increase your experience and will help you to develop your judgment. Then where based on decisions, based on your experience, more and more of our decisions will be right because our judgment are sharper right now, are better. Yeah, in a way, it's also, I think making decision is like a rubber band. You need to stretch it on. You need to keep practicing it, and it's not going to be comfortable, but it will help you to develop our judgment. So a little small note for you: though decision making is difficult, it is vital to good leadership, and as a result, you will become a better leader. So that's basically for question 5 on decision making. I mean, the greatest challenge in answering the call to leadership, and one of the greatest challenge is decision making, and it's an inevitable. As a leader, we have to make decisions, all kinds of decisions. But here it encourages us that none of us is perfect. Not all our decisions will be correct, but we still have to take up this role to make decisions, even though it may be difficult. But one of the encouraging thing that what it says is that when we get into the habit of making decisions, our experience will develop our judgments, where we will be more where more and more of our decisions will be right. So there is a hope that we will get better at making decisions when we make decisions. But when you don't do it at all, there is no room for improvement at all for each of us. So we have to do it. So that's it for chapter 5. Not chapter 5, question 5. Yeah. Any input? Oh, you're welcome, Jin Lee. So I guess this would be the last question that we're going to discuss. Next week we're going to talk about servanthood. Okay, like just now I think Patrick mentioned about about servanthood. So next week we will be talking about servanthood, and I don't think we can cover that this week. Yeah.
Okay, one thing I want to add about decision making
Mm.
is that always remember that a good leader recognizes that not only the fact that they need to make decision. How do I say? There's a balance. What I'm trying to say is that there's a balance. I've seen leaders who are afraid to make decisions, so they make very poor leaders. Right? Because they're always avoiding decision. They're slow to making decision. So generally it hinders leadership if you are not a good decision maker. However, there is the other extreme. People too quick in making decision. In what way is too quick making decision a bad leader? So is quick decision making good?
Depends on how sharp are you.
Please explain. Depends. Jilly also say depends. You also say depends, Mabel. So depend on what?
like how sharp are you? Like how well do you know the situation and the pros and cons and the consequences that are going to impact the whole organization or your people? If you are experienced enough, you have already developed a very good judgment already, then I think it's faster and you can make the decision quicker.
So
Yeah.
So let's make it personal.
Mm.
How do you know that you should make a decision and not delay, or delay to make the decision? What? How? Tell me what goes through your mind. What you must consider in your decision. What is your consideration?
You mean for my personal or for like as a leader in our organization?
Well, of course I'm talking as a leader lah, but then you can look through your personal experience to see how you can best make decision lah. Is it possible that in any decision you can be too fast or too slow? Is it possible? Then if you can be too fast or you can be too slow, then how do you know when it's right? What consideration do you have to look into? What are your considerations during the process of decision making?
Okay, I give you example. This one my personal one. So it's like this. I know myself, like last time I don't know, like I would go shopping and then I tend to buy a lot of snack. And then after that I realized that the moment I buy a lot of snack is when I'm very hungry. So next time I know already when I want to go to the supermarket, I'll just make sure I won't get myself so hungry, and then I will go, and then when I want to buy the snack, I will think first, hey, this snack last time made me like, when I eat it, then it doesn't make me feel good, it make me feel bloated or whatsoever. So when you have past experience like this, you know that like you will make quick decision. How to say like, okay, you shouldn't do this when you are feeling like this, or you know that these kind of things is not good for you because you had bad experience with that thing before. So sometimes with past experience, it will help you to make decision faster. And when you are not sure, like for example in organization, when you're not sure about the whole situation, maybe as a leader you really have to be very quick to find out the facts, and to certain things that cannot be delayed, then you have to be very quick to find out the facts, and to be quick in your thinking, like how these things, or you relate to your past certain experiences, that how these things can affect the whole organization. I also don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway.
This is not an easy answer, but I want to challenge you all to think. That's why it's easy to say decision making, but in the process of decision making, what are the different considerations? Can you be too fast or can you be too slow? Correct? There are times where decision has to be quick because the opportunity is there and it passes very quickly. Right? But is it possible that you are too quick to the point where you can be careless? Yes. That's why to me, I have to challenge with the word holistic. You really have to consider. Of course, you will consider from your angle, but it's not enough. That means you have to consider in your own experience, but that's not enough. You have to consider the task at hand. What is the goal, the role and responsibility given to you? But that's not enough. What else do you have to consider? You have to consider the people, the other people involved in your team. What impact it will have on their life. Right? That's why it is like in your decision making and your consideration, in your decision making, the circle of consideration keep growing from yourself, your own value system, your own preference, right, to your role and responsibility in the organization, and then to your team member, what it has on them, to the community per se, because it can impact other people in the community, to your nation and to the world. And you have to keep looking beyond that. Now, it is the level in which you are able to consider. That means how big you expand your circle of consideration impacts how good your decision will be. And oftentimes, as you expand your circle of consideration, you realize that the outcome of your consideration may differ significantly. When you expand to one circle of consideration, your decision might be, yes, this is good. But you expand to another level, to a bigger level, to a bigger consideration of impact, you may end up saying, no, maybe not so good. Now, that's why decision making becomes very tough. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And not only in this case, you are considering, in this case, the impact. You are also considering impact in time. That means the impact this can generate in the future. Now you're not talking about expanding in a circle of impact. You are also expanding towards time impact in time. That means the impact today, what about 5 years down the road? What about 10 years down the road? That's why a lot of time in decision making, it depends on your ability to visualize holistically, to visualize the impact in all directions, in all aspects, or in as much aspect as possible. That's why the training, decision making really involve mental training, mental visualization training. And that's why decision making, you really have to do it a lot. And in each consideration, in each time you make decision, it expands. And you must try to expand. And then now, in your next decision making, you will consider a level that you didn't consider before. Then in the next decision making, you consider another level which you previously wasn't so good at considering before. And each time it expands and it expands and it expands. And you have to do it to a point where it becomes habitual. Because in certain cases, you really don't have time. You really need quick decision. And so your training need to reach a point where you can do it quickly, almost to a point where it's habitually, by visualizing in bigger and bigger contexts. Okay? I hope it helps you to visualize decision making. And that's why the more decision you make, the more training you get, and the bigger decision you can make. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Any comment? Mabel, do you have anything else?
No more. No so far.
Okay. So next week you're going to continue with question 6, right?
I'll try to complete it next week. Next week we have, because chapter 5 until question 9 only.
Okay. Anyway, it's 10:26, almost 10:30, also good timing. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any comment? Any feedback? Any question? Any? Okay. If there's none, okay. Okay. We will say good night already. Take care. Okay. And please stay safe.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you.